Guys, my name is Siri from Siri Tutor Blogs. Today we are going to look into a, a development, a Java development on Spring Core application, where I wanted to cover IOC, which is inversion of control, dependency injection, and bean lifecycle, and AOPs. AOP it stands for accept oriented programming. Let's see how we can do it hands on. So first we have to create a new project. Let's give okay, let's select this. Let's say Spring Core demo, and let's keep 21 as it is, and yeah, this one also as it is. So we are selecting a Maven archetype, um and here you are supposed to select archetypes quick start. Where is it? Quick start. Archetype quick start, yeah, I think that is it. I don't see anything else. Okay, and then we have to not here. I think it's in the advanced settings. Yes, in advanced settings, you will give the scom.demo. You can give anything, whatever you feel like, and it's up to you. And artifact ID, I am giving Spring Core demo and this. And let's create a project here. Um, we can create in a new window. Let's close this old one here. Okay, all right. Uh, okay. Now, this Spring Core, um, as you know, we are not. I'm not deep diving into Spring Boot or the Spring MVC or Spring Data JPA. I'm just. I want to start the development process from Spring Core so that we can have an idea about what is inversion of control, what is dependency injection, and how are the bean life cycles work, and acceptancy oriented programming. Acceptancy, accept, acceptancy oriented programming. Yeah, accept. So these are the few concepts that we are going to cover in this project. So let's first open the source main Java. Let's delete this app. Okay, and let's create few folders here. uh, Package, why is it giving me like this? Config, no, I don't want this to happen. uh, it's not uh, no. Okay, so what we can do is we can go from here. Mm, let's do one thing. We can open it from here actually instead of searching where it is in the Explorer. So here it is. Okay, and over here, if it doesn't work for you that way, I usually do it from the folder structure itself. Okay, create folder. Create a folder, accept, create another folder. We're going to make a shorter videos instead of a long videos. That way you can have time to refer and come up with new ideas. Please share, like, and subscribe to my channel. um, and leave the comments if you have any questions. Please let me know, and I will get back with the answers. So I have created 4 folders here. One is accept, one is config, main, and service. Okay. All right, let's go back to our. Okay. So the first thing we are going to create is interface. Interface is a high level, high level definition of what we want to. It's not a definition, it's a high level abstraction of what we are, want to achieve. Okay, so we are going to create an interface here. uh, Class. So the main intent of this project is we have we are trying to create a payment services, and we are trying to create a order services. When a user orders a few products for that particular amount, it in turn calls the payment service, and it makes the payment process happen. And and it will complete the transaction. So very simple. There is nothing complexity behind the scenes. Very simple, but just to understand how AOC, IOC, uh, AOP, and dependency injection works. So this is the main intent of this whole project is. So payment service, we are creating a interface. When we create an interface, we have to change class to an interface. And then we have two abstract methods. um, Maybe a process payment method, which takes parameter amount, and it returns a boolean variable, which is true or false. That's it. Boolean variable. Okay. All right then. The next method is uh, it returns a string get payment method. Okay, these are the two abstract methods. Before we move on to the next class, let's just simply define what this class is intended for. So this class is mainly gives you the dependency injection. It demonstrates dependency injection. And also spring will inject the concrete implementations at runtime. Okay. And this one is we are just processing the payment for a given amount. Okay. It returns true if the payment is successful, or false otherwise. Okay. And this one is just it returns the payment method description, just the description, that's it. So payment description, and here it is payment amount. process and returns true if success, false otherwise. That's it. All right, let's give it a space here. Okay, now let's create another class, which is let's create a class credit card payment service. So this interface is being implemented by this class. Okay, let's look into this. So when it is um, when we are trying to implement that interface in this class, we have to say implements payment service and implements method, whatever the two methods we have given there, we are saying to just implement it here. So idea is idea has helped us doing that. And we have to declare two variables here for the credit card payment service. One is the string variable card provider. What kind of card are you using? Is it a Discovery? It is a Visa? Whatever the name of the card. And the another one is the Boolean variable, which tells like initialized equals to false. Okay, equals to false. And then we have to create a default constructor here. Let's create a default constructor. Mm, okay, and then let's create a. Mm, do we need a parameterized constructor? I don't think so. Let's not do a parameterized constructor here. For now, we'll just stick with no parameters. Okay, and just we're going to write down console statement saying that constructor credit card payment service instantiated by Spring IOC container. Okay, the Spring IOC container will instantiate this, and then we have we need setters and getters here um, for the variable. So let's click on the generate setter getter. Okay, so we have the setter and getter that instantiates this card variable to whatever the value it is giving to, and the getter variable will return the string uh, whichever we have assigned the value to. Okay, and then let's do the let's add bean lifecycle, that is initialization callback, called after dependency injection is complete, which is at the rate post constructor post construct. So there is no annotation result. So what we have to do is we have to go into POM and we have to add our dependencies here. So the way we have to do here is um, we have to add the, so for here it is 21 21, we have to add this one spring version here. This is the property variable that we have to add in the POM in order for the spring um, to create the containers and to get the libraries loaded up in the project. Uh, and we have to add some dependencies. So this is just a variables, it doesn't do anything. But then we have to add some dependencies for the spring to do the actions. Okay. So in order to do that, we need to add dependencies here. Okay, I'm just adding the spring dependency here. Um, I think apart from the dependency, we let's see. Does it resolve the symbol here? It needs, no, right? So we need some more dependencies here, not just the spring, but we need um, Jakarta. Yeah, let's add this one, pre-constructor and post-constructor in the dependency section. And these are all available in Maven repo. So if you go here, hold on one second, let me reopen this one more time. I want to make sure that I'm using a right one. Yes. So, where is it? Where did it go? Yeah. So, if you say Maven repository, you can find all these things here. Okay. So, see, it is the Jakarta annotation API. So these can be found here. It, you can just retrieve from here. That is where I got it from as well. Okay. What is it? Jakarta API annotation API, right? Yeah. So the version is 2.11. I have used 2.11 is this one. So this is where you have to grab the Jakarta annotation API. Okay. So once you add this, now again let's sync the Maven, and let's I hope now the annotation will give us an option to import. See, yeah. So this is where we have to, that is how we have to import the dependencies in pom.xml. Okay. Now let's so in post construct, I'm going to come up with a method call init, and I'm just going to say life cycle at the rate post construct credit card payment service initialized is initializing. Okay, it's still initializing. Okay, then maybe we can write the card provider set to whatever the card provider we will be receiving during the runtime, and the initializer is set to true. Okay, initializer is set to true, and once we have done like this, once we made it to true, that is when we call it as ready to use. Credit card payment service is ready to use. Okay, so it's like uh, you can add as many you can, and let's come up with at the rate pre destroy. So here I'm going to add another method called say cleanup, and here I will just say um, uh, life cycle, because they are all part of the bean. Closing connections to card provider. We are no more using this card provider, so this pre-destroy method is going to call before before the execution ends, and this dot initialize equals to false. We are making it false, and this is where it becomes destroyed. Life cycle credit destroyed. Okay, all right then. So this is done, and the main thing is payment process. How do we want to process the payment? So here we have forgot to mention the this thing. Before doing that, let's do the payment process payment. I think this has already been overridden somewhere at the bottom. Payment process, yeah, here it has been overridden, right? The first time when we tried to create the code. Here what is the check we want to do? So here if initialized, if it is not initialized, right now initialized is true, not initialized is false. If it is false, not false is true, right? If it is mm, it will throw not initialized, illegal state exception, payment service not initialized. Okay. Next, if this amount, whatever the amount we are seeing, we are getting, is less than or equals to 0, then what we are trying to say is payment invalid amount and amount, and we are going to return false here. This is where we are going to return false because the amount is not more than 0. And then here the actual process is going to happen. We are not doing any complicated things here, but just to understand the Spring Core concepts. So, payment processing, dollar string dot format to dot f. It's just for the decimal value, decimal points, whatever we are displaying. Um, card provider. Okay, processing the amount using the card provider, and payment connection connecting to payment gateway. Okay, and transaction authorized. You can say gateway and transaction is authorized. Okay, authorized. And after the authorization is completed, we are going to return it true. Okay, it's already 28 minutes. Right then. Then we are going to do this return type with a string. Credit card provider and closing bracket. That's it. Okay. So this is the implementation that just we are not writing any business logic, but just to understand the process. And let's going to create a order service here. Order service. In this order service, we are not implementing any payment services because we already did here. I don't want to implement it again here. We are going to do a dependency injection of the payment service through order service, from order service, not through order service. From order service we are going to inject the payment services. Okay. The thing is, for doing that, we have to create a payment service. So here, if you look at it, look at the variables here. We have declared card provider. Card provider is the Visa card or Discovery or whatever the provider we are going to give. That is going to instantiate it, and this is just a boolean variable to initialize this class. And the same thing in order service, we are going to create another variable which is called for the dependency injection. We are going to create a payment reference, payment service reference. Okay, and we are going to create another variable which is a order counter. Okay, order counter equals to 0. I have initialized as 0. Okay, now let's insert some constructors. Here, let's put the constructor, let's include the dependency injection of the payment service uh, reference into the constructor, and constructor. Okay, all right. And then we need getters and setters. Let's finish this up. Um, so here we are creating a constructor, right? Constructor order service instantiated with payment service constructor injection. Okay, then let's um, setters and getters. Where is this? Okay. Set payment services. Okay, here. Payment service is injected. Injected into order service via setter injection. Okay, and getter we already declared the getter here, and it is returning the payment service method, saving payment service interface reference. Now let's create post construct. Here it is the same thing. Let's copy it from here. Post construct and pre-destroy. Okay, it is the same thing I want to demonstrate here as well. Okay, there is no initializer here, so let's get rid of initializer from here. Here at the rate, it's order service is initializing, and you don't have anything like a variable but you can show this variable from the thing. So here what you will say is order service connected, and then connected, and then using payment service dot get payment method. Okay, and here order service is ready to use. It's same way, we don't have this initializer. Let's get rid of this one. Closing connections for um, connections for order count, we can say, and then order service shut down and destroyed, shut down and destroyed. Okay, all right. And then one more main method we have to create here, which is place an order. That is the main intent of this class. Public int place order of, it takes two parameters here, string product name and double amount. Okay, so here let's give a new line here. We can say order processing. Okay, order processing. Here we are doing order, and we are printing the product name, product name. Same way we will going to print the amount. Whenever we print amount which is an integer, we make sure that the decimal points are having two decimal points after the point, and then amount, and then the payment method, whatever the payment method, it is going to pay this for the product. Okay, and now we are going to declare a boolean variable here, which is a payment success. Payment success equals to payment service dot process payment, right? Process payment and amount. If you go look at here, let's put a semicolon before moving out from here. If you come here, this is the process payment, but it is returning a boolean return type, right? So that is the thing we are calling. The amount is being passed as a parameter for the process payment, and this is the boolean type. Now, based on the boolean type result, we are going to determine how the things have to move forward. um, Order counter plus plus, we have instantiated the order to 0 here. So now um, int order id equals to 1000 plus order count. Okay, if it is true, if the return type is true, if then it has to do these steps. Okay. Mm, we are making this call from order class, so that's why I put order there. Order confirmed, order number, order id equals to order id. Okay. And then we are going to say, just for the appearance, okay, then we are returning the order id. Okay, order id else order failed, payment unsuccessful. Okay, then we are returning a -1. Okay, and the last thing is get order. Did we implement the get order count? No, right? Mm, we haven't implemented get order count. We can do that here. Okay, that's pretty much it. It will return the total count of the order count. So whatever the count it is making here, for every order, for every successful adding of the order, it will count those many number of counts, and then that count will be returned. All right, then. This is pretty much it. Then we have created these things, but we have to create logging aspect, that we will look into in the next session. For now, let's wrap it up very quickly to tell you that we have covered an interface. We have created a credit card payment service class which implements this payment service, and an order service class which have dependency injection injected into the order class. So payment service is the dependency injected in the constructor and also in the setter class. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, we will please post me the questions in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will cover the rest of the coding exercise in the next session. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.